Well, today we're going to do a locking rabbet joint. After I clean my dado stack, I'm going to show you how I do this. Stick with me and I'll show you how we're going to do it. What I want to do is my dado stack has gotten where it's needed cleaning some time ago, if you know what I mean. So what I wanted to do, I need to figure out, this thing got a chart. 1/4 inch is 2 blades. But see me like the 2 blades is not quite 1/4 of an inch. Because my next thing to do is I was going to try to demonstrate, say you want to make some drawers, but speed is of the essence, but you wanted a good drawer too. I was going to try to do the quarter method, or some of them call them half. What that means is if you're using 1/2 inch material, it's 1/4 inch, so quarter. For instance, let's say you had there's 3 settings that you got to look at. The width of the blade will be 1/4 inch if you're using 1/2 inch stuff. Well, if you're a 1/4 inch blade, that means you need a 1/4 inch gap between the fence and the inside of the blade. Also, it needs to be 1/4 inch high, so quarter. If that makes sense. So what I was kind of wanting to do, and I done got that all over me, is demonstrate making a drawer with a quarter method. Well, I like that method. It's good, strong. It relies on glue, but it's really quick. If you know what I mean. You take and set your table saw up with your 1/4 inch dado stack. You got your fence 1/4 inches away, and the height of the blade is 1/4 inch. And you don't have to move nothing. You can cut the sides, you can cut the ends, you can cut the panel for the bottom without ever moving the blade, the fence, or anything. That's the part I like. Once you get it dialed in, you're good for the rest of the drawers. These things are, man, I should have cleaned these things a long time ago. But I was going to do that. And then what I was wanting to do is get these things in good order. Man, these blades, when they're clean, they cut so much better. Makes you feel better about them too, if you know what I mean. I mean, you got this thing all caked with, you got shims. They usually don't get messed up. Them into the blades, like the chippers right here. I try to use one then the other, and if I need one, but see, they get caked up as well. Okay, I done squirted that right there down. See I don't know if y'all can see that or not. But see how it's all caked up. It does that, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I've already squirted the blades, but if you can see how messed up that is, they needed cleaning some time ago, and this stuff does a good job. Have good luck with it. What we'll do, we'll set this down there, and we'll let it soak a bit. I got toothbrushes and whatnot. I'll rub it all. So that sure didn't need it. We'll let that soak here just a bit, and we'll take a brush and kind of work it down. So what I wanted to try to do, I need to find me some material that I can demonstrate this with. What I'd like to do is do the quarter. Like if you had 3/4 stuff, you'd go 3/8 on everything. 3/8 dado stack, 3/8 from the fence, and 3/8 tall. That's where some call it the half. It's half of your material width. Might be a better, but most of the time you're using 1/2 inch stuff in your drawers anyway. So quarter is what they call it. If you search the internet, it's all over it. But I was going to kind of just, I get these blades all clean. I was kind of going to go over it and do one for you, and then later on I'll do a half blind Locking Rabbet Joint, what it is. The method is quarter, but what you end up with is a Locking Rabbet. But then they have a modified Locking Rabbet. Some call it, or I call it half blind Locking Rabbet. It'd be kind of like a half blind dovetail. It's kind of the same results, but with a different joint, if you know what I mean. So when this thing soaks here a little bit, we'll come back, and what we'll do, we'll take a brush and we'll get this thing clean, because I cleaned that saw blade, that table saw blade. It sure made a difference. I mean, I do, yeah. Well, if you think about it, it gets gummed up as bad as that is, and it adds friction to it, so it gets hotter, which makes it stick more. I mean, just on and on it can go. To be sharp, you got two mating surfaces coming together at the finest point possible in order to make it sharp. Well, you get it caked up a bunch of stuff, and you've taken that away. So we'll be back in a minute, and we'll take the brush to it. I got a toothbrush, and wife give me that one right there. It might be about that much better than a toothbrush. It may not be any, but I'll see you back here in a minute. So what I'm going to show you, I don't know if y'all had any experience. I know that a lot of people got a saw stop. The brake device, I think they call it, Dado brake cartridge. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and change this out and put the Dado stack in it. I like raising the blade all the way up, and the riving knife, it's got to come out. And the wrenches that come with the table saw, that's what I use to get the blade on off. All right, the brake cartridge that is on there is for a 10-inch blade. So the Dado stack, oh, I like that dropped it. The Dado stack is 8-inch. There are 2 dials down there that just slips on, then it automatically slipping in that. And you put this right here to lock it in. So what I try to do, I'll line up one dial, come up and catch that other, and it just slides right in, no big deal. It just takes a few minutes to and so you don't need the riving knife with this configuration. But remember, we're doing but there is, you'll have to adjust this thing. This is the gauge for, that's the gauge you're gonna need to have right there. It's on there 70 thousandths, but so you'll have to adjust that because it'll be different between the two. But what I normally try to do is go ahead and get them tight like I want it, and make the adjustment then in case something's different when you tighten it up. The way I tighten it is just a little bit right there, because as that thing's spinning, it's self-tightening. So there's a mark on this thing that will tell you. See, it sets in there, and this is what you're looking at. When the blade comes through here, you want to check it right against that and put that feeler gauge. That's the distance it needs to operate properly. So that was way too close. Needs to come back just a little bit. Okay, there it is. Well, what I have done with this thing, I have, you know, a 7.5 or 7.25 for a skill saw. I put that in here, and you have to use the Dado Stack cartridge in order to have a zero clearance or a break for it. I don't know if that's recommended or not, but I can set the distance and everything just fine with it. But I've used it several times, but some of them segments, you know, a thinner curve goes a long way. You take, time you do a bowl, you'll have 75, 80 cuts in it. And you half that, and you're not losing near the, or you're not cutting it half of the way. And if you're using some kind of exotic wood, that pays off. You're doing this in the quarter method, right? What I do, I'll find the highest point. I'll bring it up to a quarter, maybe just under it, and I can fine tune it from there. So that's a quarter up. We got a quarter wide. So we're gonna come in here and get a quarter. Let me find one. There it is. Too much. Okie dokie. So what you want to do now is take a test piece, and we'll check our measurements. So what you do now, you take the two pieces. You know, and say this is the side and this is the front. So the front, all right, let's see. Let me mark, say well, we can do them the same way. All right, let's say this is going in and this is going in. So in other words, the ones without the pencil mark is the outside. So what you'll need to do, the outside, no, the inside, all right. Yeah, the outside goes out. For this one, okay, for this one, the outside is up. You follow me? For the ends, the outside will be out. And then when you cut the dado here, the outside will be up. So let's try that and see if I'm right. All right, right here, we're gonna need a little help. Because if that thing turns any, we're this way here. Bench, we're not going all the way through. This is a safe cut. We just need to make sure it stays down. All right, let's see what we got here. See, remember the outside. That might be a little bit. See, now you can look and see where you're. So we're not quite deep enough to make that match. See, there's a little bit of gap right there. So we need to raise the blade up just so now, see, we can kind of use the same one and sneak up on it. So we need to raise the blade up just ever so slightly. I'm going to keep it where I can see it. Okay, I raised it up just a little bit. Let's just see what that tells us. So that is how I do a locking rabbet. And it's just stuck together, there's no glue there. However, dead on square, how about that? If you get all this cut correctly, it'll try to square itself up. So that is the way we cut a locking rabbet. It's a good joint. When you pull, that's a good joint. You can batch off a bunch of these. The thing about it is, you can choose that exact same setup and cut a groove to house the panel. You know, quarter in, quarter down. It's the same setup. So you can cut the sides, you can cut the ends, you can cut the groove for the panel, your bottom panel, without ever moving the blade up or down or the fence left or right. To beat that, let's say you had a 1/2 inch piece that you want to go in that quarter. You lay it down and or stand it up, and like you're cutting these, and you cut all 4 sides and it'll sit right in there. So in other words, you cut the panel, the fronts, the sides, and never moved the fence, never moved your blade up or down, anything. That is where that makes that nice. Once you dial it in and get a fit like that, so there's no glue there. And then it's not real hard. I mean, it'll just come right out. But that's what you look for on these fittings. If it's too tight, time you put glue on it, you'll wind up busting it. But you want it tight enough where it holds itself there. So we dialed it right into what we needed right there. But that's a locking rabbet. They got another one, for instance, if you're piston fitting these drawers, they have a half blind locking rabbet. May do that tomorrow or something. But anyway, you take the 1/2 inch here and say you make this 3/4. Well, you have a 1/4 inch to stand out here on the front. It'd be just like a half blind dovetail. All you see is your face piece. It'd be like having an extra 1/4 right there. That's if you want to take this away, or you have a different front. This way the front would be the front. I mean, you wouldn't see the joint. It's a pretty nice little, it's a little extra setup, but that locking rabbet is the way to go. If you got to batch a bunch of them out, and it's a good joint. So you pull right there, you're pulling against the wood. You ain't 100% relying on the glue. And it will last a long time. if you took your time and do it. Locking Rabbet, I've used them. That it's when you got a bunch to batch out. That's what I do. Because you set it up, and you can do your complete drawer. You know, you get them all cut, and then you start doing your joinery. You can do the bottoms, everything. Well, that one setup. It's pretty cool. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this. We got to dive in on a Locking Rabbet. Well, we'll see you guys and gals on the next one. Y'all be safe.